right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Friday, September 6th, and the Yankees were taking on the Cubs at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Luis Gil was on the mound, returning from the injured list, and he was terrific. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Welcome to the New York City.
Pinstripe Territory.
Just when they thought I was out.
Hey, pull me back, kid.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Nice to be doing a post game with you here before 11 p.m. for a change. 3 straight day games for the New York Yankees. Aiden, what's up, man? The guy behind the Pinstripe Territory social accounts with me today. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Fully moved into my new apartment here in New York City, going to school at Fordham, so feeling pretty good, although it does get hot in here because I don't have the AC on right now.
Well, I was going to say, every time I talk to you, you got a different background, but we got a pretty dominating performance from Luis Gil today. We'll talk about that. We had some frustrating comments from Brian Cashman. We're definitely going to talk about those. But this game was really about one big 3-run inning for the Yankees in the top of the third, and then the pitching, shutting down the Cubs with just one hit allowed, a double by Cody Bellinger. He also walked a couple of times, but that was it. Yankees pitching was dominating. Luis Gil was fantastic, and they got a new bullpen arrangement here as it was Cousins, Canely, and Weaver to close out the 3-run lead. First ever save for Luke Weaver, and win number 13 for Luis Gil, win number 81 for the Yankees as they finish 500 or better. Any thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a pretty quick game, which, I won't really complain about. Really just one good inning of offense for the Yankees there with that Judge RBI double, the 2 RBI single from Wells. But, the story of the day was Luis Gil returning from the IL. I think we were all a little worried, and for the right reason. And he looked great. Great. You can't ask for better returning from the IL.
All right, so let's talk about him. We said when he went on the IL that it could be a blessing in disguise because, it seemed like he needed a break. He had the lower back stiffness. That's a sign of fatigue. And today he looked much better. Velocity was a little bit down at times, but it seemed like he was able to go back and reach back and get it when he needed to. Cubs didn't get their first hit until the 4th inning. It was their only hit. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for Luis Gil. Only downside of his performance from my perspective is that I predicted 8 strikeouts on the Nostra Derek prediction this morning, and he only came up with 7. What a bum! So he is now 13-6 on the season with a 3.24 ERA. We're going to pop up his stats on the season. Aiden, I missed a lot of his early performance today because I was working on Foul Territory. But what did you see from Luis Gil today, especially early in the game?
Yeah, I mean, early in the game, a lot of people were noticing, myself, his velocity looked down. Like his fastball was not as fast as it usually is. It averages I think 96.8 miles per hour on the year, and it averaged 95 miles per hour today. So that was a little worrying. He still did max out at 98.3 miles per hour. So it's not like he completely lost his velocity. I think it's maybe more just a sign that he's working on preserving himself throughout games. Maybe he's going to start, saving that gas in the tank for later innings and try to manage through the first couple of innings. And that's good, not just for later in the games, but if he's, learning how to preserve himself, hopefully that looks better for him, long term so that, he won't get hurt. But his slider also looked really good too. It was really effective. 4 more inches of horizontal movement and 4 more inches of vertical movement, 4 more inches on average than the yearly average. And he got a lot of whiffs on it, not so much out of the zone, which you would kind of like to see, but that's all right. He still did show that changeup a good amount too, just, reminding hitters that it's there just to give him, another element of unpredictability. And it's really not the 0 earned runs that impressed me today, Derek. It was more the 1 hit. He only allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, and only 2 hard contacts on the day from the Cubs hitters too. So My one complaint overall though is that he could have been more efficient, but we know we know command is his issue. But for the first 8 or 9 hitters, I think he was throwing first pitch balls. Don't want that, but that's a really minute complaint. Otherwise, he was fantastic today.
I gotta agree, and we got another big piece of the rotation coming back tomorrow. Clark Schmidt, who has been MIA for pretty much this entire summer. I feel like him going down kind of set the Yankees off on this, like that was the beginning of this struggle that they had. I've gone from being one of the biggest Clark Schmidt skeptics when he first came up. I didn't like his mechanics, but he's refined everything, and now I'm one of his biggest advocates. I love his curveball. I love his attitude. Like, he's a guy who I don't think is going to get flustered out there. He misses bats, something the Yankees need right now. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of whiffs. And it seemed like he had conquered that, 2 times through the order mentality where he couldn't get through it a third time. He got past the 5th inning and 6th inning a few times right before he got hurt. It'd be interesting to see what he can give us tomorrow. What have you seen from him in his rehab numbers?
Haven't watched his rehab starts too much, but from what I've seen, he's looked pretty good. He only has 4 earned runs in the 11 1/3 innings he's pitched. He had a 3.18 ERA in that span and a 41.9% strikeout rate. So that's a good sign. He's striking out a lot of batters. He wasn't walking a ton of guys either. In his last start, he went 4 2/3 with 7 strikeouts. And that's really encouraging. I'm excited to see him pitch tomorrow because this is a big, not addition, but it's big that Clark Schmidt is back, that they're adding him to this rotation again, because not only do they need him because he was so great before he went on the IL, but if the Yankees could have another guy in that rotation that, can take some of the weight off of Rodon, Heel, and Stroman, just give those guys rest, especially Heel, that's so huge. So, Clark being back, that's a guy who's probably going to be in your playoff rotation. You want to see how he performs over the next month, but, this is a big addition for the Yankees over the next month.
Yeah, I'm not sure it really gives these guys that much of a rest. I mean, you want these guys going all out down the stretch right now. It's a sprint. I don't want them letting their foot off the gas because Clark Schmidt's back in the rotation. But this time through the rotation, they're going to go with 6 starters. So that will help at least give everybody just like an extra day of rest right now. Let's talk a little bit about the story of the day, one that's got me a little bit fired up. So, excuse me if I rant a little bit. But before the game, Brian Cashman said that Alex Verdugo gives the Yankees the best chance to win, and that Dominguez was going to remain in the minor leagues. And I just have to say I disagree.
I disagree, Gary.
Name that movie. Uncut Gems. Anyway, so I don't know how you can simultaneously call this kid a potential superstar. And, we saw it last year. We saw him come up and just crush the baseball, and he was amazing. Not just home runs, too. He was hitting line drives. He was hitting doubles. He was running the bases. I don't know how you can call him a superstar and then say that Verdugo, who has been quite literally a bottom 5 worst player in the league this year, is better. Has Verdugo played some solid defense? Sure. He's made 1 or 2 big mistakes in the outfield, but I like his defense. I love his arm, but he can't hit. I don't care that he's 12 for his last, 30 or whatever. They're all singles. Like, almost all of them are bloop singles. He is not driving the baseball. He's not a good hitter. He's gotten lucky. And he doesn't have anywhere near the bat speed that Dominguez has. He doesn't have the switch hitting ability that Dominguez has. He loafs down the first baseline. And I can't believe that Cashman thinks that, if he really does think that Verdugo's a better player than Dominguez, I'm just in disbelief. You know what's going to happen? They'll either call him up in a couple of weeks and he'll mash, and we'll all realize, or Cashman will finally realize what we've all known, is that the team unduly suffered with Verdugo in the outfield and Dominguez in the minor leagues. Or they won't call him up because of Cashman's ego and not wanting to look bad, and they'll sink Dominguez's confidence and stunt his growth during a critical period of his career and development. Unbelievable. I can't take it with Cashman anymore, man. I'm beside myself, and I think I'm officially on the get rid of Cashman train. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I myself am increasingly ready to hop on that train with you. I've tried to remain level-headed with Cashman. I think he's a great GM. He's always putting the Yankees in contention. But to be honest, it is kind of hard for me to believe that Cashman really does think that. I can't see that he actually thinks that Verdugo is the better option than Dominguez right now, because it just takes one quick look at the numbers. There's no underlying metrics or underlying numbers that are going to tell you that Alex Verdugo should be playing over an elite prospect right now. But I mean, I could be wrong. And if Cashman really does think that, Verdugo is the right guy for the job right now and not Dominguez, then Cashman's job security should correspond with Verdugo's performance the rest of the way. Like, if Verdugo is not going to perform for the rest of this month, if he's not going to perform in the playoffs, you might want to fire Brian Cashman. I don't know how likely it is that happens, though, because we know how much Hal Steinbrenner adores Brian Cashman. They're best friends. They've known each other for 30-something years now. He trusts him. Cashman always gets him into the playoffs, and that's really what Hal wants out of this team. He just wants him to make the playoffs. Of course, he wants to win a championship, but playoffs is what brings in the money at the end of the year. But for years, we've heard a lot of fans say that the Yankees are analytically driven, that they're too analytically driven. They rely on it too much. Had the whole thing where, they did the audit last year on the analytics department after that whole extravaganza. But this situation, to me, continuing to play Verdugo and not bringing up an elite prospect who mashed when he came up last year and is mashing in AAA right now, that tells me that the Yankees aren't analytically driven enough and that they might not be analytically driven at all. I mean, it should show you that, you just take a quick look at the numbers. Since June 1st, Alex Verdugo is batting .221 with a .589 OPS and a 66 WRC plus. That's awful. Dominguez in AAA, batting .313 with .868 OPS and 125 WRC plus, has homered 3 times in his last 5 games. It couldn't be more clear to me. And, I think as fans, we should be a little bit insulted. Like, our intelligence should be a little bit insulted because the Yankees tell us they're putting a championship caliber product on the field. Right now, they're not, because their best players aren't on the field.
Carlos Alvarez says, honest question. What will it take to get rid of Cashman, or are we stuck with him forever? I got to say, it's the same thing with a politician or a judge. A live girl or a dead boy, or, what's a dead girl or a live boy? Is that what they say? That's the only thing that can create a scandal big enough to get rid of Cashman. But I remember when he got pulled over by the cops that one time. They thought he was like the fucking Scranton Strangler or something, and he got away with murder. But I still think they should have thrown him in prison. All right, quick word for our sponsor today, Navage, from the guys at Foul Territory, and then we will be back with a recap of the Yankees' 81st win of the season.
Congestion from sinuses, allergies, or a cold can be all-consuming.
That includes snoring for me. But Scotty, I found some relief from Navage Nasal Care. You've got to try this. Navage makes breathing easier. My Navage unit is a game changer for clearing my congestion fast.
Yeah, Kratz, Navage uses that smooth saline flow and nasal suction to clear those nasal passages.
It works for me, Scotty. I've noticed a huge difference since I started using Navage. I'm breathing better and the whole family is pumped that I've got the snoring under control.
We want to help you get relief from your congestion too. Our listeners can order a convenient Navage starter pack, including a nose cleaner with batteries included and 30 original salt pods. Everything you need to get started. Plus, get a cleaning kit as a free gift with your order, but only going to our exclusive URL, navage.com/foul, and using our promo code FOUL. Again, to order your Navage free cleaning kit and for full product details, go to navage.com/foul. That's promo code FOUL at navage.com/foul.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
All right. Yeah, I think they should lock up Brian Cashman in prison along with Clay Holmes. Just throw them both in jail. Throw Verdugo in jail, too. That's what I would do if I was president. I would throw these guys in jail. I'm running for president. That's my platform. Elect me. Throw these guys in jail. Wasted opportunity for the Yankees in the first. Big surprise. Leadoff single from Gleyber Torres. He's been swinging the bat pretty well out of the leadoff spot. Couple of walks. Yankees loaded the bases but did not score. They got their crooked number in the top of the third inning. RBI double for Aaron Judge. Double number 33. RBI number 25 on the season. And then a 2-run single from Austin Wells, who promptly fell down on the bases and got picked off. Let me get your thoughts on the Rookie of the Year stuff right now, because we got Colton Cowser, who's made some noise with the Orioles. You got Wilyer Abreu with Boston, and then you got Luis Gil and Austin Wells. I mean, just setting everything aside, Austin Wells has the highest WAR, right? I mean, he should win it. Cowser has more power. Luis Gil's had just some incredible stretches. If I had to vote, I think I would vote for Luis Gil because of how he carried the Yankees when Garrett Cole was out. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at, the numbers for the rookies across the American League, or really just the AL East in general, because that's the Rookie of the Year race right now. I haven't looked at their numbers, but Luis Gil and Austin Wells both have very, very compelling arguments, and so does Colton Cowser as well. Gil, like you said, has that argument because he carried the Yankees rotation for the first few months of the season and was one of the best pitchers in baseball at the time. I think he had 10 wins or something by July or something, or maybe earlier. I don't remember, but he was utterly dominant. And then Austin Wells, he's so valuable, on both sides of the ball. And that's really, really rare for a catcher. And to think, for the first couple months of the season, he wasn't really hitting the ball well, and he wasn't really getting a lot of starts. And, now that he's getting more starts, more opportunities to play, that's evened out. He's hitting better. He's a great framer. He's a good blocker. And it's just really rare to see that from a catcher. And I would argue that, maybe Austin Wells does deserve those first place votes over Gil and Cowser, because it is so hard to find a catcher, to do what Austin Wells is doing. I think that's what makes Austin Wells the most valuable rookie in baseball right now, is because he's one of the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah, and Adley Rutschman has not been good this year. If you look at his numbers for the last few months, we had a call in about it. He's hitting 160 for the last few months, so I thought he was going to be better. So the fact that he's basically become one of the best catchers in the American League, if not the best, it's really, I think he deserves at least a second place finish, so. But after that, it was just the Luis Gil show. Dominating pitching, didn't allow a hit until the fourth inning. Only hit that I still got Rangers written up here. I got to change that to Cubs. That's my bad, guys. That's my bad. I didn't catch that. That's just me being tired. Anyway, as I was telling Aiden before the show, by this point in the season, having done so many podcasts, there's a tired spot in me that no amount of rest will fix. That I just need a week off, and so it's leading to little things like that. But Yankees played the Cubs today, not the Rangers. Anyway, very nice play by Rizzo to take away a base hit in the bottom of the sixth. Any thoughts on Rizzo since he's come back? I've been kind of impressed, especially defense. He's looked sharp. You had to play the bunt where he threw the guy out at third. We had a couple of nice picks. Today he recovered quickly on a ball that I thought took kind of a bad hop, but he's looked good over there at first base. I think from an offensive side, I want to see a little bit more hard contact, but what are you seeing from Rizzo?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. His offense really hasn't been that impressive so far. I'll still cut him some slack because he still did just get back. He did have a couple of RBIs in his first 2 or 3 games, I think, but the at-bats just haven't been that impressive. Not enough hard contact, but the defense, of course, has been really impressive, and it's really nice to have him back and have that peace of mind, at first base defensively, because, as much as I love Ben Rice, he was a little shaky out there, and then DJ LeMahieu was another story.
DJ LeMahieu, let's throw him in prison too, baby. Let's throw him in Guantanamo Bay. Very strong throw from Austin Wells in the top of the seventh down to second base, but nobody was standing there. Would have made it much more effective if somebody had been standing there, Nice job by Jake Cousins to pitch out of the jam. Very strong outing from Tommy Kahnle today. And then the question we've all been waiting to see, who would get the first opportunity to replace Clay Holmes as closer? And it was Luke Weaver, and he did really, really well. He was throwing 98. The cutter was nasty. Had a long at-bat from Paredes there, but I thought he nailed it down pretty well. What'd you think of Weaver?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. It was nice to see a lot of swing and miss. Those first 2 batters, he kind of just breezed by him. And then that Paredes at-bat, after he walked Bellinger, it's getting a little sweaty because he got up to like an 11 pitch at bat, but he finished the job. And I feel like that was probably a less stressful inning than almost all of Clay Holmes' innings this year. I gotta say.
So we got a few super chats. We'll get to those in just a second, but the Yankees take game 1 of the series.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
Dude, I am crushing the water right now. I've drank like 5 bottles of water today. They say you're supposed to have like 6 to 8 bottles of water a day. That seems like ridiculous to me. Like, how does anybody drink that much water? That's
drink
insane.
A lot of water. I drink a lot.
I don't think you need 6 to 8 cups. I mean, you could probably get by with like 2 or 3 cups. Just don't do cocaine, right? It's just like you don't need that much.
I mean, that might not be healthy.
Hell schmelt. So we got to give out the belt, then we'll take our super chats. I think it's pretty obvious today. Do you want to do the honors, Aiden?
Yeah, we're giving that belt to Luis Gil.
All right. 6 innings with 1 hit, shutout baseball, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The whip down to 1.16, the ERA at 3.24. We were on him in spring training, man, when nobody else was. It was me and you against the frickin' world. And we were saying, Luis Gil for the rotation, because we saw it. I saw it with my eyes. You saw it with the data. But Luis Gil has done a really, really outstanding job this season, and he is the belt winner. So, excuse me, we've got a couple of super chats here. CM says, an analytically driven team that ignores the analytics. He's referring to your comment about Dominguez being in the minor leagues. That's an interesting take. They like to rely on the analytics sometimes, but sometimes they just ignore completely obvious metrics like the ones you offered earlier. YouTube commenter says they are only analytic when it supports what they want to do, and I think that's the truth. And then Aaron L. with the question that we could talk about for approximately 3 nanoseconds. Would you put a qualifying offer on Gleyber Torres? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd offer him a job wiping the clubhouse floors. No, I don't want him back. Not for the money that he's going to command. I mean, a qualifying offer is like $20 million. You kidding me? No way. Is it? No way. It's rough. It's in that neighborhood. It might be 18. It might be 22, but it's 18. It's up in that region. So we got a question about the belt leader. So I'm going to go to the belt leaderboard real quick, and we're going to check this out. So I've actually got something on here. So actually, it's 8 belts for Carlos Rodon and 9 belts for Luis Gil. So Luis Gil is number 3 in the clubhouse, behind Aaron Judge, who has 10, and Carlos Rodon, who has 8. Number 4, and Juan Soto, who has 15. So Luis Gil with number 9 on the season. So good season for him. Let's get to a few comments from the chat here. CM says he wouldn't take Torres back if they paid us to let him play. Oh man, that's a little rough. But look, he's gotten. We got to give him credit. He's looked better in the leadoff spot, Aiden.
Yeah, no, I that's what I was thinking. I mean, he's been like pretty solid offensively all year, I think. Like, if you looked at the numbers, I think you would say he's about an average offensive producer this year, especially since he's been leading off. He's been fantastic in the leadoff spot, but the defense just, you can't get past it. You can't get past it with him. You never really could. And at the end of the day, that's why the Yankees are probably going to let him go. Yeah. All right, let's get to our final thoughts here. Lori C says that Gleyber will look nice in a Pirates uniform. I could see him landing out west. I could see him landing with like the Mariners, maybe. Someplace where there's not a lot of pressure. Although I don't think he'll hit very well in Seattle because they got kind of a big, they've got, first of all, a bad hitter's eye. Like nobody likes it there, and then they've got a big outfield. So I can't see him putting up any kind of power numbers. Maybe his average will go back up. And Egyptian Magician says he'll miss Gleyber. I'm not going to miss his defense. I'm not going to miss that defense, baby. And then CM says Caleb Durbin for second base in 2025. I don't know if they'll do that. I mean, they haven't even really given him a shot at all
to even impress on the big league level. So I think it's much more likely that we'll have Jazz Chisholm back at second base, or Oswaldo Cabrera, or Yorbit Vivas, or Oswald Peraza, something along those lines. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think definitely second base and third base are going to be interesting next season, and how they do that. I think the right move would be to put Jazz Chisholm at second base because historically he's a great defender over there. But I do agree. Give Caleb Durbin a shot. I don't know if, you just start him next season, but I think you absolutely should give him a shot in spring training to, battle it out with somebody. But there does have to be roster room. I think, a lot of what happens with the infield next year depends on what the Yankees do with DJ LeMahieu. Do they just bite the bullet, DFA him, and eat the rest of that money? Because you can't trade him anywhere. There's no way the Yankees could trade him anywhere. So the Yankees got a few guys, a few infield prospects that, could supplement some help next season. And I think Caleb Durbin is definitely one of the top guys that should get a shot next year.
You see Durbin with the .407 on-base percentage in the minor leagues. Yorbit Vivas, another guy they picked up potentially as a long-term solution, hitting just .232 this year. He really hasn't recovered since he got hit in the face in spring training. So maybe next year, after a winter off, a winter to recover, he'll come into spring training. And it could be one of those situations where it's like, an open competition like we had for shortstop a couple of years ago, and somebody wins. And I personally like that. It makes spring training much more interesting. But Yankees win this one. Aiden, thanks for stopping by. A reminder to like and subscribe and, follow all of our social platforms. Aiden's always putting out great content out there. All the shorts and stuff that you see come from him. So we will catch you next time. Yankees take this one 3-0.
Ball game over.
If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and give us a subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media. Join the community, have some fun. We're here after every game. This is Pinstripe Territory.